Boyd Coddington was a legend, a meester, who built some of the coolest at-rod cars ever made. But after died, his famous garage was locked up for years. When the doors finally opened, no one was ready for what they found inside. What did they find? And why is it making the world so shocked? Let's take a inside the garage that time tried to hide. Boyd Coddington was no regular mechanic. He was a dream maker and a leader in the world of hot rods. Born 1944, Boyd became famous for changing old cars into sleek, beautiful masterpieces. He mixed old-school skills with new technology, making designs that became the best in the hot rod world. His cars were clean, smooth, and stylish. Each one had a special touch through his business Hot Rods by Boyd, and later with the popularity of his TV show American Hot Rod, Boyd became a famous name in Necker world. Sadly, in February 2008, Boyd died at the age of 63 because of problems from nectrod malectio. From nectrosakes from nectra maled. My said mode mayo/malek. Mayo said mayo/mayo/maleg. Neg/belize. Kamide/anaf. Balad/live. Belize alab. So I see pleat/lides alav. Belive. Play it. Belidic and cretend. Play kali sada kakoptami masit seklu it slasli kod its ikek sits to sit to ply ak you to puck pits to pit quite surgery. His death ended a special time. Thegrage that once was full of the sounds off grinding wheels and team talking when quiet. Over time, the place got dusty. The tools were left where they had less been used, and half-finished shed proj sat frozen in time. The once lovely workshop turned into a shadow-off hut it used to be. For years, the doors of Boyd Coddington's famous garage in La Habra, California, stayed closed. It was once a busy place full of roaring machines, shiny metal, and the buzz off welding torches. But after Boyd's death in 2008, everything went quiet. Thegrage, once known as the home of hot rods by Boyd, slowly became silent. It became a forgotten place locked away like a time box from the golden time of custom car building. Then, after years of being untouched, something surprising happened when the garage was opened again. As the large rolling doors scraped upward, sunlight came through. Darkness for the first time in more than years. What was inside felt all mostly. Dust covered every surface. Spiderwebs hung like curtains across 3 walls. The air was thick with a musty smell, as if the room had been holding its breath since the day Boyd left it. Each corner of the garage seemed tall whisper memories. Old metal machines stood still. Shelves of old car parts lined the walls, untouched and quiet. The workbenches, once covered with blueprints and hand tools, stayed frozen in time. It was as if Boyd had simply stepped out for a moment and never came back. The feeling of creativity, passion, and unfinished dreams filled the space. Even insolence, it told a story. Boyd Coddington's garage was not just a workplace, was a part of him, and opening it once again was like turning the pages of a long, closed book, full of grease-stained chapters and unforgettable designs waiting to be remembered. The feeling was heavy with a mix of nostalgia and sadness, too. And let us tell you why it was sad. Because stepping into that silent garage just bring back memories. It reminded us of something deeper. How uncertain life is, as people stepped deeper into the space, they were met with a spooky sight. Scattered across the workshop floor were incomplete builds. Some were partially built hot rods. Others were custom body panels left half done. They were frozen in time, as if Boyd and his team had simply stepped away for a lunch break and never returned. The discovery was both amazing and emotional. Among the messy workstations, stood Hickel frames covered in dull gray primer. waiting for the color and shinathy would never get. Around them were stacks of shiny wheels, some still in crates, others resting against walls. A few had been partially put into incomplete frames. Their curves and shine, a big contrast to the silent seat, now filled the room. Nearby, half-built cars stood quietly on lifts, their bodies exposed, their enginess never fully brought to life. Each of these unfinished masterpieces spoke of volumes about Boyd Coddington's never-ending drive and careful attention to detail. He was known for his high-volume work style, juggling several projects at once. His garage was like a living machine, constantly boozing with new ideas and projects in different stages of completion. That same energy now echoed in the stillness captured in these pieces left behind. Walking through the space felt like stepping into a museum of dreams. These weren't just car parts and metal frames. They were dreams in progress. Each weld, each bolt, and each sandite surface told a story of skill, passion, and time. But now those stories ended suddenly mid-sentence. The builds were like half-written letters never sent, full of intention, but no ending. And this is what made the scene even more powerful. It reminded Yusuf a simple, sobering truth. We have plans. We sketch out our ideas. We start building and we push forward with energy and hope. But life doesn't always allow us to finish. In Boyd's case, he had many more creations in mind, many more projects under construction. Yet time ran out. The garage became a reminder that our dreams can be stopped forever in an instant. The sights of these unfinished hot rods brought acquiescent sadness. Not because they were incomplete, but because they showed something deeply human. We all live with goals, with visions of what we want to create, accomplish, or leave behind. But never know how much time we truly have. Seeing Boyd's works frozen mid-process was like seeing the moment where passion met death. Apart from these incomplete builds, some unfinished projects and incomplete design sketches were also found. Each one a quiet reminder of ideas that never saw the light of day and the plans that life never gave enough time to complete. As people continued to explore Boyd Coddington's forgotten garage, they found something unexpected and extraordinary. A hidden collection filled out with unreleased designs. Tucked away in a corner of the workshop were drawers, shelves, and old filing cabinets, packed with sketches, blueprints, and detail drawings. Many of these designs had never been seen by the public. They were Boyd's private collection of ideas, rough drafts, and creative directions he had explored beyond his well-known builds. Opening each drawer was like stepping into the mind of a master craftsman. The sketches were hand-drawn with bold lines and exact measurements. The blueprints showed frame layouts, body changes, and custom wheel placements. There were notes scribbled in the margins, offering a glimpse into Boyd's thought process, his ideas, corrections, and inspirations. Among the documents were really drafts and new variations Boyd had thought about after some of his most famous builds. One name that stood out among them was Godzilla. Built in 1989 for Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, Godzilla was a custom 1948 Cadillac Series 62 that Boyd turned into one of the most famous hot rods in history. Its design mixed set sleek futuristic lines with the body of a classic cruiser, creating a vehicle that looked like it had come from man of the world. Boyd worked closely with designer Larry Erickson to bring Godzilla to life. The process started with detailed sketches and drawings, which were similar in style to what was found in the hidden vault. He then changed those drawings into a real car, lowering the body, reshaping the fenders, and adding custom features that had never been seen before. The final result was a smooth, deep purple machine with a chopped roof, modern suspension, and a bold presence that turned heads everywhere it went. Now seeing the unreleased sketches stored in the vault, It was clear that Boyd had many more creative ideas in the works. These designs pointed toward new directions he was exploring. They represented the future he was planning to build. Boyd had changed. The car industry and his garage had quietly echoed the very secrets that fueled that change. Let's go through them. Among the many discoveries inside Boyd Coddington's reopened garage, few spoke louder than the crates of shiny wheel sand the molds used to create them, covered in layers of dust but still gleaming beneath. These artifacts told the story of a true turning point in hot rod history. They were not just parts. They were symbols of a change that Boyd Coddington himself had started. In the early days of hot rod culture, wheels were typically cast, often heavy-end, limited in style. But Boyd saw an opportunity to bring something new to the scene. He began working with solid blocks of aluminum, using an exact machining process to carve out wheels that were lighter, stronger, and far more stylish than anything available at the time. At first, this approach was viewed as bold and risky. Custom wheel scoot from solid aluminum were expensive and unfamiliar, but Boyd saw the potential. He knew hot rod builders wanted not only performance, but also individuality. These wheels offered Beth. The molds and tooling equipment found in the garage showed the careened precision involved in the process. Each wheel design started with a drawing, then moved into a detailed macking phase. A solid billet of aluminum would be shaped through grinding and polishing until it became a wheel with perfect balancing shine. The result was something far beyond function. These wheels were design statements, works of art, daily detail and identity to every car he touched. Boyd didn't stop at just building these wheels for his own projects. He made them available to their builders and fans, turning shiny wheels into a desirable high-end feature across the custom car community. His company became the go-to source for builders looking to elevate their projects. Over time, what began as a unique touch became a defining feature of the hot rod style. Walking through his garage and seeing those crates stacked with unused, shiny wheels was like stepping back into the moment when the change first began. They were physical reminders of Boyd's innovation and influence. He changed the way people thought about car parts. No longer wear wheels, just something to roll on. Under Boyd's vision, they became essential design elements. Pieces that could reflect a builder's taste, skill, and vision. His garage was full of memorandum pieces of his life. So, how could it not include something from American hot rod? Well, it actually did. As the investigation of Boyd Coddington's garage content, another surprising discovery came to light. Remnants of his time on television, tucked into a back room were set pieces, camera stands, worn production equipment, and marked off-work zones. These leftovers were altered to American Hot Rod, the reality show that aired from 2004 to 2007, and turned Boyd's garage into a household name. The show wasn't just about cars. It was about pressure, personality, and passion. Every episode captured Boyd's team racing against tight deadline string to deliver custom hot rods with precision and style. Viewers were pulled in not just by the beautiful vehicles, but by the raw behind-the-scenes drama. The vision behind the show was simple but powerful. Show the world what it truly takes to build a masterpiece. And it delivered that vision with intensity and truth. Inside the garage, the items left behind told that same story. Old clapboards used to mark scenes, taped outlines on the shop floor for camera positions, and a bulletin board with production notes still pinned in place. These pieces gave a silent nod to the whirlwind of activity that once filled the space. The set was never polished or staged. It was real. Grease-stained flares, tools flying across benches, and team members shouting over engine noise. All of it added to the feeling of realness that fans came to love. American Hot Rod quickly became a fan favorite because it offered more than just car builds. It revealed the real-life challenges of creativity under pressure. Boyd's vision was clear. He wanted excellence. He demanded perfection in design, timing, and execution. But that demand often led to heated moments, quick tempers, and unforgettable arguments. Viewers saw employees walk out, come back, and push through setbacks to complete projects against the clock. This signature attention became the heartbeat of the show. Back in the garage, the leftover props and tools carried that same energy. The tension, the urgency, the ambition. It lingered in the space long after the cameras stopped rolling. The production crew may have packed up, but memory of the spotlight, the stress, and the pride remained in every corner. This glimpse into Boyd's television journey showed just how much the show had shaped his legacy. It brought his craftsmanship to a global audience and gave people a front-row seat to the chaos and creativity behind each build. The discoveries inside the garage reminded everyone that American Hot Rod was more than just a show. It was a piece of Boyd's life captured and shared with the world. And now, years later, the faded tape marks and dusty equipment still echoed with that same excitement. A reminder that at one point, this garage was not only a workshop, but a stage where real stories were told and real dreams were built right in front of four eyes. Like all regular human beings, Boyd's life was not free of controversies. And his garage quiet like up the memories of those chapters, too. Behind the shining cars and thoroughwearing engines, Boyd Coddington's career also had its share of shadows. As people moved further into his reopened garage, they didn't just find blue aprons and car parts. In one of the old office drawers, they uncovered a seat of records and paperwork tied to armament that had brought serious controversy into Boyd's otherwise liberated career. The documents pointed to his 2005 titling scandal, a legal issue that shook both his business and his public image. At the heart of that scandal was the way some of Boyd's custom-built cars were registered, according to the papers found in Thegridge. Boyd had been involved in registering his custom hot rods as antique vehicles. By doing this, he was able to bypass certain California emissions, regulations, and taxes they'd applied to newer or custom-built vehicles. On paper, the cars appeared to be older models, which meant they were subject to over restrictions and costs. Added a layer of complexity to the story of Boyd's legacy. While some might have seen the move as a way to protect creativity in a strict regulatory environment, the law viewed it as lying. The records found in the garage hinted at the scale of the issue. Lists of vehicle registrations, correspondence with registration agents, and internal memos discussing titles and compliance questions. It was a quiet but clear trail leading back to the pressure Boyd faced in keeping his business running at top level. More revealing, however, were the personal letters tucked among the official files. Handwritten notes, printed emails, and scribbled memos offered a glimpse into the human cost of controversy. One note written in Boyd's own words expressed concern about the investigation might affect his employees. Another memo shouts frustration about delays in production caused by the legal scrutiny. These are documents revealed more than a business. They showed the stress, the uncertainty, and the emotional weight carried during that time. Behind the confident presence on television and polished chrome of his custom builds, Boyd was a man trying to balance creativity, success, and the challenge of running a high-profile business. The controversy did not define his legacy, but it became a part of it. A moment where passion collided with regulation and ambition was met with consequence. The garage, filled with signs of triumphant innovation, also held the weight of this difficult chapter. The paperwork, once stored away to be dealt with another day, now sat as silent witness esto, a time of pressure and decisions that would leave a lasting impact. It showed that legacies are not always clean. They're made of brilliance and mistakes, of victories and setbacks. As the last sections of Boyd Coddington's garage weary explored, A softer, more personal side began to reveal itself. Among the toolsend project files were boxes filled with old photographs, handwritten notes, and small sentimental items that once belonged to Boyd and his team. These were not part of any car build. They were pieces of life, smiling pictures with his son's birthday cards from employees, and trinkets collected over the years filled the space with quiet emotion. These items reminded everyone a thought beyond the legend. Boyd was a father, a mentor, and a man deeply connected to the people around him. There were several images of Boyd with his family, especially his sons. His bond with them had always been strong, and that connection still lives on through them. Today, Boyd's garage is under the care of his son, Chris Coddington. Chris, who had once worked alongside his father, continues to honor his legacy through design, craftsmanship, and by keeping the Coddington name alive in the world of custom cars. Chris has often spoken about his father with both pride and deep emotion. In interviews, he shares memories of late nights in the garage, the lessons Boyd taught him about precision, style, and work ethic. But more than anything, Chris remembers the way his father treated the garage as a second home. It wasn't just a workspace, it was where dreams were made, where family gathered, and where challenge met head-on. Walking through the garage now with those memories scatter a drag out in the form of old jackets, custom license plates, and crew pictures, one cannot help but feel a strong emotional pull. Every corner holds a whisper of the past. Every fatoon the wall tells a story of laughter, frustration, celebration, and legacy. In Nana, their particularly touching discovery. A framed picture of Boyd and his original crew hung quietly above a rusted workbench. Dust had settled on the frame, but the smiles in the photo still shone through. It was a moment frozen in time, reminding everyone of the unity and spirit that once filled the room. As the light shifted and Thegridge stood in silence, there was a powerful contrast in view. On one side, the tools and blueprints representing Boeotian and greatness. On the other, the photos and mementos showing love, humanity, and loss. This wasn't just the closing of a legendary workshop, it was the closing of an era. Boyd Coddington's garage is more than a building filled with car parts. It is a place where life was lived, where art was created, and where the line between family and team blurred into something unforgettable. Now, in the quiet that remains, the ghosts of that hot rod empire still linger. Not to haunt, but to remind you of everything that once made it great. How do you feel about these powerful disguised deads? Boyd's Garage. Share your thoughts in the comments below.